Hey, what's up, world? Welcome back to another edition of the Cigars and Bullshit Podcast. Yours truly, DJ Bentley. I'm joined with Steve and Frankie, where we're going to talk about another interesting topic this week. It's about cigars and it's about the bullshit. Let's get into it.
One was talking about how Elon Musk he has this idea of implanting chips in our brains. Yeah, I don't know if you heard about this.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I haven't heard about that.
I know it was Elon Musk that was trying to.
Yeah, he's pushing it hard.
I mean, the whole thing.
He thinks that there's a part of our brain that we cannot access. That he thinks that this chip will unlock this potential or
Maybe
this.
He's got one, and that's why he's a billionaire.
And that's what people are saying.
But no,
There's this scary part about that, which is, I don't know if it's in the area of this, but there was a guy, I think I sent it to you. There was a guy who, in the virtual reality space, created a headset, a VR headset, that you put on. And I can't remember exactly what it did, what triggered it, but it explodes and it kills you.
Hey,
what
listen,
the?
Yeah, I sent you the
technology, man.
But the guy who created it, the idea was, I think his idea was something about if you're in this reality world, right, and you don't like complete the game, what it's like, if you don't fulfill your commitment, you don't quit, right? But if you know that you're gonna die if you don't finish this particular thing, you're gonna stick in there. And he designed the headset that'll kill you. It's a real thing.
But like, why the hell would you even put yourself? That's basically like
it's like you're trying to hide from the real life.
It's almost like it could be considered like assisted suicide in the other side, because you get someone who's depressed and they're like, I'm purposely not going to do this. Boom.
Yeah,
or
I mean, it's kind of...
That's like their second life. Like, they're not happy with this one. They'll go... So, I mean...
Well, all right, so now you're talking about that. Go ahead, let's talk about the whole VR, virtual reality world.
Okay, so virtual reality. We had a conversation about this before, and my whole thing is that it's not... I believe that these are two different things. There's virtual reality, right? And there's which is artificial intelligence. It's a totally
AI.
Two different things.
Yeah.
AI. Now, I believe society is going to turn completely into an AI world.
The Matrix.
Right? Now, we already headed that way with a lot of things. Money. If you think about it, before
digital currencies.
You get paid, you used to get paid, and I mean, going all the way back where you'd go to the payroll office. There used to be a physical office in the building. It's payday, and on Friday you go to the payroll, and he says, "What's your name?" You show your ID, and then the person would hand you either cash or a check. That check, you look and go, "Wait a minute, I worked more, right?" But then you take that. You physically go to the bank, or if you didn't have a bank account, you cash it at a check casher place, and they physically give you cash. Those days are like, forget about that. So they closed down the payroll department. They used to mail you a check. You still got a check though, right? You'd wait, and then you get a check in the mail, and then they came out with direct deposit. Okay, so now you know physically, along with picking up cash. You're not picking up a piece of paper as a check. You're not cashing anything. Payroll comes, and you look in your bank account on a computer screen, and you make sure that your amount is updated in your account. But there's no physical cash, because that's just a number on a computer screen, right?
Crazy.
Okay, as you keep going, artificial intelligence is growing, right? And I'm including that in artificial intelligence because it's automated. It's a computer that's generating this. It's sending signals for you to get your money, and then you're looking and
It's all data,
right? It's all data, right? Because there's no physical cash. You think about it. You're working, but you're not physically receiving anything. It's just numbers on a ledger. Okay? It's the same thing that's happening in our purchasing of things. I told you this story before too. I went into Best Buy. I wanted to pick up, I can't remember what it was, a piece of equipment. I walk in, the store was empty. There was like maybe one guy helping me in Best Buy, And I'm like, waiting, and finally, a guy comes up, and he's like, how can I help you? I'm like, where's everybody? He's like, you're behind the times, man.
Yeah, but-
We're moving into more like Amazon. And I said, what do you mean?
Where a
He's like-
storefront is not
he's
going to
like,
exist anymore.
Yeah, it's not going to exist anymore.
Sad.
Why?
It is sad.
You go on the computer. Now, you're still getting a physical product,
Yeah, yeah.
right? But that whole process of ordering, physically touching something, walking, trying it, and walking, that's kind of
Starting to
gone.
go away.
Yeah, you order something on a computer, pick out what you want, color, size, whatever, description, features, and it's mailed to your house. They're delivering it, right? So there's so much so now Amazon they've been trying for years, and I seen a recent post on social media. This guy goes, and his family was ordering wings.
Wings, like chicken wings?
Chicken wings. It was delivered by a drone.
Yeah, Amazon does that in the city. I heard they do it in the city.
Right?
They drop
So-
off textbooks and all
Yeah.
that different toothbrushes and stuff.
But he was laughing because he's like, yo, this is crazy. They ordered, let's say, like, I don't know, the family size. It had like 100 wings in it. It was too heavy for the drone. So 50 of the wings were delivered by drone, and the other one was like a DoorDash guy came and delivered.
That's hilarious.
What?
But again, it cut out. There's this drone that comes and delivers, drops it right on the lawn, and it left.
Just direct, like
Yeah.
That is bananas.
consumer.
Okay,
You
there's
got chicken wings ordered and they got delivered by a drone.
delivered by drone. There are cars automated. We all know Tesla is trying to do that. They have these little robots. They were testing them out in California. I can't remember which college, right? College campus. You order it. This robot comes and delivers it to your
I've seen that.
to your address.
That is
now
nuts.
the suitcase that follows you in the airport.
I've seen that.
Have you
too.
seen that?
Yep.
No.
Okay. Yes. You
You wear something and it
pack
just
your
follows
stuff. You pack your stuff, and you have a little remote receiver. You put the luggage down, and you walk, and it follows you wherever you
you.
go.
I've been looking for one of those.
It's
If you
good.
find out where to get one, I
But
want one.
what if somebody runs up and snatches the bag?
I'll send you the link. I mean,
Dude, it just I've seen it. It just follows
literally-
people
you
in
don't
the
have
airport.
Yeah, but
carry.
someone come run behind you and grab your bag because you're not even holding on to
You're
it.
not
But-
supposed to in an airport.
You're not supposed to touch anybody else's luggage. But the whole thing is that AI soon, and this is like the whole invention theory.
Scary.
It becomes out of inventions come out of necessity. we are
depend on
we are right. We're in a society now where we want things fast.
Oh God,
We
yeah.
want things.
People want
you know,
things instantaneously.
Yeah, and we want it where we're very lazy. We don't want to have to. I don't want to have to cook a meal before even breakfast. You'd have to get, if you eat eggs and bacon or whatever, you get your bacon and your eggs and so on and so forth. If you talk about the food industry and AI, artificial intelligence, the whole thing is like, you go now, you pop something in your microwave, and you got a full meal.
Let me tell you something.
You know?
Not to cut you off, but to get into this AI, I saw a video where this guy, there's websites now that you could type in, and he explained to the AI the evolution of men, of just human beings.
Mm-hmm.
And the AI generated where it started from monkeys, all the way to cavemen into like medieval era, and you see the picture just transforming before your eyes.
Ever.
And what ended up happening towards the end is the humans started turning into this, almost like, remember I was telling you about like the implants?
Yeah.
So it started into that, and then all of a sudden you just saw human beings turning into wires and stuff because they were becoming machines.
Well, the whole thing about that is like, I don't think it's going to replace human beings to that extent.
No, but I'm saying people
Right, I got you.
They're turning themselves into these things.
Right.
you
And it's
know?
all because of the whole laziness. Now, how does this tie into virtual reality? Eventually, again, AI transportation. They got the driverless cars. They were trying in Florida in this community, the buses. They're trying to do shipping. These trucking companies have where long haul, big trucks.
Tractor trailers.
Yeah, they have it. It's auto driven.
Yeah.
You know.
You don't have to hire anyone.
You don't have to
it's
hire.
going 24 hours
Yep,
straight
it
into
just
where it needs to
goes
go.
because people fall asleep and this, that, and the other. Well, that's supposed to eliminate
Paying
that.
someone and
Yeah. So, but now here's the scary virtuality and trying to get to the point that Steve and we were having this conversation where
It's getting
there's
cold
going to
out.
be a whole there's going to be a whole world, right?
my lighter won't even work.
Where
Keep it in your pocket.
That's what I'm doing right now.
you put on these goggles, you go into Meta, and I'm a DJ. Okay, so now I put on my virtual headset, and I'm in there DJing. My my avatar
Yeah.
is DJing. And Steve was saying, well, yeah, they're gonna, like, Meta's gonna hire people. I get up in the morning, just like I work from home, I put on my VR headsets, and there's a party going on, and I'm in there, and then Steve comes into the party, and I'm DJing. This is all virtual reality.
Absolutely
This is all
nuts,
virtual
bro.
reality.
Maybe I could get a 6-pack again.
You can listen. You can make your avatar
And hair.
and hey, you can make your avatar
Get my afro back.
to the point to where I sent you that other article. They were testing out Meta. One of the female contributors, I can't remember what she was, a scientist, whatever she was. She puts on her VR headsets and they gang raped her in virtual reality.
We talked about that
we
incident,
talked about
yeah.
that.
So she was destroyed, and they had made a police report and everything.
For VR, she's like, oh my god, I like, you know. So
Emotional.
what they did was they developed a sensory type of thing. Like when you go into the VR, the other participants have a proximity sensor where you cannot physically get my
Well, you can't
avatar
rape them.
cannot get close enough to Frank's avatar to even punch him or anything. It's too far away. Like, this is all in the computer.
Because he could be like jumped in a gang,
Yeah, you can, you know.
or you won't be able to get raped or anything like that. Well, listen,
The whole thing is, how is it mentally?
I want to piggyback on this with my thoughts. Go ahead.
So it's really destroying the social aspect that
100%.
that we need
100%.
as human beings to exist. This is the whole thing.
100%.
We, as human beings, part of our existence is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do a podcast.
You know right now how much
Yeah.
mental illness is running rampant between how many medicines people are on, or what gender they want to be, and all these other
Right,
things that are
right,
going on, and all the pressures of society as it is. And you add in that aspect, you're just making it even harder for people to have a normal social life. Having a normal social life is kind of going to become almost extinct at
It's
some
gonna be
point.
awkward.
Right.
Now, let me jump in and give you my thoughts on this whole thing, because I go on a tangent where you brought up the Matrix. And you're also mixing what you talked about that's actually happening is the metaverse. So my feeling is, now, we all had played video games when we were younger, and we could spend hours on like a PlayStation or an Atari back in the day, but whatever. I feel like you introduce something like the metaverse, and that next generation coming up, growing
Forget
up
it.
on the
They won't even
metaverse, they're not going to want to leave the house. Now, there could be, as we all know, with technology, there's good and bad side to it. You know, they came out with the internet, and what's half the internet is porn. Not that, well, used correctly, it may not be a horrible thing for some people, but you know, there's people who are addicted to the internet, and they don't know how to have a normal relationship with a woman,
Right.
because they think that that's what it's supposed to be like. Now, whatever your opinion is on that, that's not the point I'm getting to. The point I want to get to is, you take those two things, like the example of, if you remember the Matrix, when they kind of woke up Neo, the character,
Yeah.
they pulled that plug out of him, and he
Right.
was in that pod
And he
covered
was
in this
like
gel, and it was
He was a battery.
he was right, but
Dude,
the
I love
point
that
was
movie.
he was dreaming he was in another world.
Right.
He was having a complete life, going to work every day, doing whatever, and then all of a sudden they unplugged him and woke him up and said, "Yo, you're in this other," and his muscles were like atrophy and all that stuff. You're gonna have people, if we continue down this path, that are gonna get up, plug in, go to work virtually, do whatever they got to do, and they're probably going to have jobs and be paid. And if it's not existing already, it's going to happen. But now, I don't know if it exists already, but the point is, you're going to have a point where people basically only unplug to go eat some food, go to the bathroom, go to sleep, and come back on and put that headset on, and that's going to be their fucking world.
Well, that's what's happening now with, I feel, the gaming. Like, before, you mentioned it in the beginning, we used to play the games as fun, you know? I was a huge, what you call it, fan.
People are now getting paid to play.
Right.
They have YouTube channels, and they're on Twitch or YouTube, and
I mean,
people,
I was a
kids,
huge-
our neighbors' kids sit there and I see these kids 4, 5, 8 years old,
tablets.
and they're sitting there just watching for hours hours someone else play a video game.
Right.
And that baffles me because I'm like, why are you watching someone else play a game instead of just playing it yourself?
Right. Well,
I don't understand the concept, but this guy's got 102,000 followers, and
Right.
I'm like,
well, that's the whole thing.
I don't
Like,
understand the
I
whole.
was a huge-
I'm old.
I was a huge GTA fan. Huge.
I feel like
Huge.
everyone.
I've had almost all of them. You
It's
know,
almost
we
like a
went-
second life.
right? And that's what it becomes. You become addicted to that virtual reality world. Now, what are you doing?
Well, sometimes it's fun just to blow off some steam and, punch somebody because you're not going to buy. It's just a game, But
Right, but it's
that's why they
now-
also market them with like mature audiences only and things like that. Because
it's
you got
becoming-
like 8-year-olds doing that stuff, and then
Well, it's becoming reality. It's like what you want to do. I want to get up and I want to go into Grand Theft Auto. I not only want to complete a mission now I want to go in and I want to explore the world and do other things. You can spend 8 hours playing Grand Theft Auto.
absolutely,
If
or
it's a-
Call of Duty or any of these other
if
games.
it's virtual reality where you're now immersed in it physically,
It makes it even more enticing.
right.
And 8 hours will go like this. When I was playing GTA, I could play for 2-3 straight hours, no problem.
Oh, man.
Well, I'll give you a for instance. Like, all right, so I'm 53. So around the age of 30, 35, they came out with that ability to play online.
Right.
Now, you used to have to be at each other's house to play head-to-head, like,
Like Halo.
Madden or something like
Halo.
that. Anything, whatever game. Once they came out with the ability to just log in and have a private room and go bananas with other people, that took it to a whole nother level. And I would be playing with colleagues from work, and we'd say, all right, Thursday night, we're going to sit down and play this game,
Yep.
Grand Theft Auto. And we would be like, all right, we're going to play from like 8 to 10 or 11. We all got work tomorrow. Dude, it'd be like 2 a.m. And I'm like, you guys want to do one more round? Like,
It ends up being another 2 hours.
one or two guys would fall off, but it was like, I'd be like, yo, it's 2 o'clock. I got to go to bed, man.
So-
I got work tomorrow. And this is as a grown
Yeah,
man.
right.
So I can only see a kid who doesn't
growing up
have
in
that
it.
obligation.
So now my point is, or I guess my question is, what's the purpose of it? Because it's gone from entertainment to now a lifestyle.
I feel
Or
like
it could be addictive. Could be considered
no, it is.
an
It's
addiction.
part of that. It's part,
Okay.
that is part of the issue.
But what's the purpose
Me
of
personally, with growing up with it,
It's having fun. I was a gamer as a
it's
young
almost
guy.
like an escape to reality where you don't like. Okay, I don't want to work today. I'm going to go do this, and you know what? You turn into this person where it's like, oh, I'm succeeding here. I'm succeeding here. So you get that mental, almost that mental,
It's a
not adrenaline,
not
but you get
adrenaline, but it's that what is it?
The sa-
dopamine.
Yeah.
Dopamine. You
Like,
get
when
that
someone works out,
dopamine.
they feel great. It's the
yeah,
same
you get
thing,
that
like,
dopamine, but in a different way. And that could be good, but not good, because you got to have balance. Like
I think
as an
it's
adult, we know it. We know. Look, it's 2 a.m. I got to cut it off. I got to go to work tomorrow. And you're going to pay the price because you're going to be a little lethargic, or you're going to be like yawning, and you can't wait for lunch. Or maybe you're like, oh, my lunchtime, I'm going to go in my car and take a nap. But that's when you got to realize that as a mature individual, like, I have to have a cutoff. Kids don't have that ability now,
Right. Well,
and they're getting them young, and they're
Yeah.
sucking them in.
I think even as adults, it turns your mind into this whole, because everything, as you said, the dopamine kicks in and then everything is better. Yeah, you gotta go to work.
Perfect
Wow,
example of that
you know.
is look at social media. How many? And I don't want to pinpoint like a male female thing, but there's a lot of moms that ain't paying attention to their kid because they're doing this all the time.
Well,
And then the kid
selfie.
falls in a pool. There's a lot of guys who are like, oh, they're so worried about, oh, look at the,
They're too busy posting on what they
it's
have. and
just-
their wife. They forget about their lives. Their wives, their children.
they're forgetting about whether it's a guy or girl. They're so sucked into the whole look at me thing.
Right.
And now we're discussing this and we're doing a podcast, but this isn't our life. We just thought this would be a fun idea. This isn't like, I don't need this, but some people need that instant gratification, like how many likes I got. And think about all the kids that are having depression issues and their suicide is up. And
I told you a story of a family friend of ours. He's a teacher. He's in the UK. Okay, he's a teacher, and he's talking to one of his students, a young girl, and she's sitting down. She's all depressed, and he's like, "What's the matter?" And she's like, "Well, I'm just feeling like nobody likes me." He said, "What do you mean nobody likes you?" She's like, "Nobody likes me. I put a post on whatever it was, and nobody liked it." So nobody really likes me. I only got like 1 like. And he's like, but that's not reality. He's like, yeah, but I want people
That's
to like
social media.
Right.
It's like that instilled personality that they need to.
It's almost like they need today's time.
They need everyone's acceptance.
Right, and I think one of the most important things if you have kids to teach them, especially young, is that that's not what you're relying on.
Right.
You know.
It's a reality. It's a desire to be liked, no matter the cost, and not in reality.
I'll give you a scenario. I don't know if it has something to do with it. I had a friend of mine that broke up with his girlfriend, and and they were going back and forth, telling each other off. And he's like, yeah, she told me that, I only had 2,000 followers, and she can't be like, I can't be with someone like that. And I'm like, listen to this guy. I'm like, dude.
Well,
like,
that's so shallow, man.
Like,
that's terrible.
The thing is that it's designed where, he's looking for those likes, and he's putting a value in it, right? But it's designed for you to only put up good things anyway. Because you're not going to go on there. We're not going to sit here and do a podcast and go, I'm going to say, hell, man, I got marital problems.
Yeah.
I'm overweight.
Because that's intimate, that's personal. And I'm not going to tell everybody about that anyway. I don't go to work and tell everybody that if I have an issue. It's my business.
To be liked. And so I'm going to say, yeah, I'm a world DJ, and I'm the best there is in the world, and I did this and I did that, and
I went there,
and everybody's like, oh my God, this guy is so great. In reality, then when we cut filming, I'm going back and going, shit, I haven't had a party in 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't even know the newest song out. I don't know any of these experiences, but I just put that out there so that people can like me, because I want my followers.
Yeah.
I want people to like me. I want people to. But that's a fake world. It's not real. It's not your real world.
I think the strongest thing you could kind of instill in someone young is that you don't give that any weight. You don't give it any weight, because that doesn't matter.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the Cigar and Bullshit podcast. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Just hanging out with my friends, sharing experiences that help you take away something interesting and maybe some information that you didn't know. So make sure you tune into the next episode. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast.